I was running 15 minutes early to my parents' house for Sunday dinner. Traffic had been lighter than expected, and I'd finished my errands faster than planned. As I pulled into the circular driveway of the sprawling colonial home where I'd grown up, I noticed all the cars were already there. My brother David's Mercedes, my sister Michelle's Range Rover, even my brother-in-law Tom's Tesla. Good, I thought. Maybe we actually start dinner on time for once. I let myself in quietly through the front door, not wanting to startle anyone. The smell of Mom's famous pot roast filled the air, blending with the sound of voices coming from the dining room. I was about to call out a greeting when I heard my own name. Honestly, I don't know why Emma even bothers coming to these dinners anymore. Michelle's voice carried clearly through the hallway. I froze, my hand still on the doorknob. I mean, what does she contribute? David added with a laugh. She shows up in those thrift store clothes, driving that embarrassing little car, never brings anything nice. And she's always so quiet. My mother's voice chimed in. My chest tightened. Just sits there with that little smile, like she's better than all of us. Better than us? Tom scoffed. She works at some tiny nonprofit making what, $30,000 a year. Meanwhile, we're all actually successful. I wish she'd just disappear from this family, Michelle said, her voice sharp and clear. Honestly, these dinners would be so much better without her bringing down the mood. Every time I look at her, I'm reminded of failure. There was a pause, and then my father's voice. Now, Michelle. No, Dad, she's right, David interrupted. Emma's the black sheep. Always has been. Remember when she dropped out of law school? Biggest disappointment of my life. And I wasn't even the one who did it. They all laughed, every single one of them. I stood in the hallway, my heart pounding, my face hot. I should leave. I should turn around, get back in my embarrassing little car, and never come back. That would be the healthy thing to do. But then something else stirred inside me, something calm and cold. I plastered a smile on my face, straightened my thrift store blouse, which was actually vintage Chanel, but they wouldn't know that, and walked into the dining room. Hi everyone, I said brightly. Sorry I'm a little early. Traffic was great. The conversation stopped abruptly. I watched the color drain from Michelle's face and saw David's eyes widen slightly. Mom recovered first, her society wife training kicking in. Emma, darling, we didn't hear you come in. She stood and kissed my cheek, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. We were just talking about the weather. It's a beautiful evening, I agreed, taking my usual seat at the far end of the table, the seat they always gave me, furthest from Dad's position of honor. That pot roast smells amazing, Mom. Dinner proceeded normally on the surface. They talked about David's latest business deal, Michelle's upcoming vacation to the Maldives, Tom's promotion at the law firm. I nodded, smiled, and asked polite questions, watching them relax as they realized I either hadn't heard or was too pathetic to react. And what about you, Emma? My father finally asked, the way someone might ask about the weather out of politeness. How's the nonprofit? It's wonderful, I said warmly. We're really making a difference in children's literacy rates. That's nice, Michelle said, her tone making it clear she thought it was anything but. Must be so fulfilling, working with the less fortunate, since you are one of them. David snorted into his wine glass. I just smiled. It really is fulfilling. Speaking of which, how's that townhouse working out for you, David? The one on Elm Street? He blinked, surprised I remembered. Fine. Why? Just curious. And Michelle, you're still in the Harbor View apartments, right? That corner unit? Yes. She looked at me suspiciously. Why are you asking about our homes? Oh, no reason, I said lightly. Just making conversation. Tom, your law firm is in the Morrison building downtown, isn't it? 4th floor, he confirmed, looking confused. Emma, what's this about? Nothing at all, I assured them. I'm just taking an interest in your lives. Isn't that what family does? The conversation moved on, but I could feel their eyes on me occasionally, puzzled and slightly uneasy. Good. I left at 9, hugging everyone goodbye and thanking Mom for dinner. Michelle barely looked at me. David patted my shoulder with exaggerated sympathy. Hang in there, little sis, he said. Things will get better eventually. Maybe. I'm sure they will, I replied serenely. I drove home in my embarrassing little car, a carefully maintained 2015 Honda Civic that helped me maintain my cover, and went to bed early. I had a busy morning ahead. At 8:47 a.m. the next morning, my phone started ringing. It was David. I let it ring. 2 minutes later, Michelle called, then David again. Then a number I recognized as Tom's office line. Then my mother. I was in a meeting, so I let them all go to voicemail. Around 10:30, during my break, I finally listened to the messages. David's voice was panicked. "Emma, I need you to call me back immediately. There's been some kind of mistake with my lease. They're saying, just call me back, please." Michelle's was shriller. "What the hell is going on?" "My landlord just called and said the building was sold, and they're reviewing all leases, and I need to. Emma, if you know anything about this, call me now." Tom's was professional but strained. "Emma, this is Tom. Our law firm just got notice that the Morrison building has a new owner and they're terminating several leases, including ours." The letter was signed by someone named Emma Shen, and I thought, well, please call me. Mom's was confused and worried. "Sweetheart, your brother and sister are very upset about something with their apartments. Do you know anything about this? Please call me back." I smiled at my phone and returned to my meeting. At noon, my phone rang again. This time it was my father, so I answered. "Emma." His voice was tight. "Your siblings seem to think you have something to do with their current housing and business situations." "Do they?" I asked mildly. "Emma Chen," he said, using my full name the way he had when I was a child in trouble. "What's going on?" "Why don't we have lunch, Dad? My treat. There's a nice place near your office." "I don't have time for." "Make time," I said, my voice still pleasant, but now carrying an edge of steel he'd never heard from me before. "Trust me, you'll want to hear this. 1 o'clock at Marcelo's. I'll have a table waiting." I hung up before he could respond. Marcelo's was one of the most exclusive restaurants in the city. I'd bought it 3 years ago, along with the building it occupied. My father arrived at 1:03, looking irritated and worried in equal measure. "Miss Chen," the host greeted me warmly. "Your table is ready. Please follow me." My father's eyebrows rose slightly at the greeting, at the deference in the host's voice. We were seated at the best table, by the window overlooking the city. My father looked around, clearly recognizing the quality of the establishment, probably calculating what lunch here would cost. "Emma, what is this about?" he demanded as soon as we were alone. "Your brother says he's being evicted. Michelle is hysterical. Tom's law firm is being forced to relocate. And they all seem to think you're involved somehow, which is ridiculous, but..." "It's not ridiculous, Dad." I opened my menu calmly. "The salmon here is excellent, by the way." He stared at me. "What are you talking about?" "I own the building David lives in," I said, as casually as if I were commenting on the weather. "And Michelle's apartment complex. And the Morrison building, where Tom's firm operates. Among other properties." My father's face went through several expressions: confusion, disbelief, and finally something that looked like he thought I might be having a mental breakdown. "Emma, that's not funny. I'm not joking." I pulled out my phone and showed him a document. "See, Shen Property Holdings. That's my company. We have a portfolio of approximately $3.7 billion in real estate across the city. I've been building it for the past 8 years. He took my phone with shaking hands, scrolling through the documents: property deeds, corporate filings, financial statements. "This can't be real," he whispered. "It's very real. Remember when I dropped out of law school? Everyone was so disappointed in me, especially you." I met his eyes steadily. "I dropped out because I'd already started making my first million in real estate investments. I realized I didn't need to be a lawyer. I could do something much bigger." "But you work at a nonprofit." "I volunteered at the nonprofit," I corrected. "I don't take a salary. I don't need one. The embarrassing little car I drive, it's part of keeping a low profile. The thrift store clothes. Most of them cost more than Michelle's entire wardrobe, but they're understated enough that none of you noticed." My father looked like I'd slapped him. "Why?" he finally asked. "Why hide all this?" "Because I wanted to see who you all really were," I said simply, "without money or status coloring your perception of me. And last night I found out. I heard every word you all said before I walked into that dining room, about how you wished I'd disappear, how I was a failure, an embarrassment." His face went pale. "Emma, we didn't mean..." "Yes, you did." My voice was firm but not cruel. "You all meant exactly what you said. And that's fine. It hurts, but it's information. Now I know where I stand." "So what, you're evicting your own siblings? Destroying Tom's business?" "I'm not evicting them," I corrected. "I'm simply declining to renew David's lease because he's been subletting his second bedroom illegally for the past year. I'm reviewing Michelle's lease because she's broken several building policies, and I'm terminating Tom's firm's lease because they're 3 months behind on rent. Did you know that? His successful law firm is failing. My father closed his eyes. What do you want, Emma? I want you all to understand that success isn't just about what you show the world, I said quietly. I want David to learn that mocking others doesn't make him bigger. I want Michelle to realize that material possessions don't equal worth. I want Tom to face his business failures honestly instead of hiding behind expensive suits. And I want Mom to stop measuring her children's value by their social status. And me, he asked. What do you want from me? I want you to be my father again, I said, my voice finally showing a crack of emotion. Not a judge. Not a disappointed authority figure. Just my dad, the one who used to take me fishing before I was supposed to be someone important. His eyes were wet. I don't know if I can fix this. You can't fix them, I agreed. They have to fix themselves. But you can fix us, if you want to. We sat in silence for a moment. Then my father reached across the table and took my hand. I'm sorry, he said hoarsely. I'm so sorry, Emma. We've been terrible to you. Yes, I agreed. You have been. What happens now? I smiled, and this time it reached my eyes. Now, David gets to find a new apartment and maybe learn some humility. Michelle gets to understand that actions have consequences. Tom's firm gets relocated to one of my smaller buildings at a reduced rate, if he agrees to honest business practices and financial counseling. And you all get to decide if you want me in your lives as I actually am, not as who you wanted me to be. And Sunday dinners? He asked quietly. Those can continue, I said. But only if we're having them because we actually want to be together, not out of obligation. And only if I'm treated as an equal member of this family, not as the charity case you wish would disappear. My father nodded slowly. That's fair. More than fair. He paused. Can I tell your mother and siblings, or do you want to? Oh, they'll figure it out soon enough, I said with a slight smile. I imagine my phone has about 50 missed calls by now. As if on cue, my phone buzzed with yet another call from Michelle. You should probably answer that, my father said. Eventually, I replied. Right now, I'm having lunch with my dad. Everything else can wait. He smiled at me then, really smiled, for the first time in years. You know, he said, I'm proud of you, Emma. I should have said that a long time ago. Yes, I agreed. You should have, but I'm glad you're saying it now. We ordered lunch. The salmon really was excellent, and talked like we hadn't in years. About fishing and books and real things, not status or money or success. My phone kept buzzing. My family kept calling. But for the first time in 8 years, I felt like I was finally having dinner with someone who saw me. Not the failure they wanted to erase. Not the success story they could brag about. Just me. And that, I decided, was worth more than all the real estate in the world. Though owning most of the city certainly didn't hurt.